my great-great-grandfather went to Africa at the age of 26 in the 1850s with Dr. David Livingstone as his doctor and as his botanist on the second Zambezi expedition. So throughout my childhood I've always heard of these explorers that went off and travelled around Africa. You get off the aeroplane and immediately there's a warmth and a smell in the atmosphere that is unlike anywhere else. There's an earthiness, there's a slight smell of wood smoke, of the eucalyptus leaves, and it's a wonderful environment to just turn up in, and you're immediately just totally absorbed in it. The African landscape can be very overwhelming, and that can evoke an emotional response which you've got to channel into your artwork. And so as a teacher I'm trying to help that response. So it's not only the technical response of how to do a good watercolour, but it's how you personally respond to that landscape and to those people. I think when I first went out to Africa and started painting out there, I realised that I was seeing the world in a slightly different way to my travel companions. And then when I went back out and spent 6 months painting and drawing, and I spent a lot of time in safari areas in national parks, I realised that the standard safari guest was missing most of it, and that as an artist you're spending slightly longer with each animal, and you're spending slightly longer looking at each landscape, and you're taking so much more in. So everybody else rushes past, oh look, there's a giraffe, take a photograph, run off. And what they haven't noticed is that giraffe has got a baby that's behind that bush. There's so many instances during my last 10 years of travelling with Art Safari of when we've stopped to draw a tree, an interesting tree, and then a leopard walks out behind it, or a really rare bird flies out of it, or an elephant walks up and eats the pods from the tree. There's so many beautiful experiences. Everywhere you go, there's a picture, and sometimes wherever you look, there is a picture, and you really want to record it in some way, and that's why most of us grab our cameras. But if you've got the artistic instinct and the sketching habit, then you'll also grab your sketchbook. When I'm drawing animals, again, there's a range of emotions that'll go through you. There's an enormous adrenaline rush. You're excited because you're seeing an animal, you're excited because it's moving, and you've got that horror that you've got to put it down on paper. And so that actually makes your drawing full of vitality and can be incredibly dynamic. So how I see it is that landscape drawing, landscape painting is all about relaxation and finding your way and exploring that landscape through your colours and through your lines. And then the animal drawing is much more about that adrenaline rush and about trying to create an immediate response and an emotional response to that animal. The artistic skill is incredibly communal, and although it's a solitary pursuit and it's you and the piece of paper, it's very involving for other people. So if you're sitting in a marketplace sketching a pile of tomatoes that a lady is selling, well, soon enough you'll have 30 children and adults all the way around you looking at what you're doing and interested in what you're doing. In Namibia we go to a particular area where there are a lot of cheetahs, and some of them are rescue cheetahs, and there are some which are tame enough for you to actually handle and go into the enclosure and be with them. So I've been able to go in with my groups, and we've been able to sit with cheetahs around us, purring really loudly. It's that fantastic, imagine a cat purring, and then amplify it, so it's really the noise of a cheetah purring away, and they love attention. So you're drawing, but your cheetah may be up next to you wanting its head scratched, and you have to be scratching its head while you're carrying on drawing, or maybe a paw comes up and tries to get a bit more attention. But there are moments in that where you are acutely aware that you are the prey and that is the predator. I wouldn't sit on the mountainside with my guests alone. We'd need to have a ranger with us. And in certain areas in Africa, you need to have an armed guard with you. In some countries, you're not allowed out of a vehicle. In other countries, you're allowed to walk with a ranger and with a guide. And you can get very close to elephant, buffalo, lion. The artwork is helping people observe the wildlife. So I've had people who come on my safaris as guests who have been on 5, 6, 7 other safaris previously, and while they're learning how to draw, and they may never have drawn before, they might be complete beginners, while they're learning how to draw, actually what they're doing is seeing those animals for the very first time. There are so many little villages that I can go to in Africa, right far out in the middle of nowhere, where I can walk in and people will say, "Ah, Mariana, you are back." And that's the most lovely feeling. I think I'm always involved in the communities that I'm in, and I feel a little bit uncomfortable if I'm bringing guests into an environment where they don't get to know local people. And local people might be the managers of the lodge, they might be the staff in the lodge, but more likely we'll take a visit to a local clinic or a village, or just sit in the market for a few hours and chat to local people and play with kids. The wildlife knowledge that people gain on the trips is not only the observational skill that they gain from the painting and from the drawing, but also we have professional guides with us on every single trip. So they get an in-depth knowledge of each animal and the safari guiding. So actually they've got a lot of knowledge, and it's all stored in the sketchbook. On every single trip there is a moment of absolute sheer wonder, and that's for me as well, and I've been on countless safaris. So there's those moments of sheer wonder, those moments of the generosity of spirit that the Africans have and that the wildlife and the landscape has as well.